Today I'm working on a evaporative cooler, or Hessaire, I guess is how you pronounce it. Evaporative cooler. The model is MC37V. For what it's worth, it's served us well for many years, but the fan is not turning on. So now I need to figure out why, and we need this to keep our animals cool in the summer. So let me click this on. So I don't know if you can hear that. It's buzzing a little bit, but the fan motor is not turning on. So we're going to start trying to figure out what is wrong. First thing we're going to do is check the capacitor. And so to do that, we have to pull this panel off. There's two little notches here on top, and you just put a little screwdriver in and pop that out. But I need both hands to do that, so I will be back in a minute. I popped the control panel off, and here is the capacitor. So we're going to check to see if this is still okay with our multimeter. And a cheaper multimeter will not have a capacitor setting, but this little bit better meter does. You can see it right there. First thing I'm going to do is take a picture of the wiring before I disconnect everything, and to make sure I can put everything back together correctly. So I've got the capacitor out, and the first thing I want to do, since I did have it plugged in just a minute ago, of course it's unplugged now before you started working on it, but before I do anything I want to make sure the capacitor is discharged. So I'm going to take a screwdriver that has a rubber handle and just make sure that the capacitor is discharged. Okay, now it is safe to measure, so that's what we'll do next. And so I've set it here on capacitance, and I'm going to touch the terminals, and if the capacitor is bad, it will not read 18, and if it is good, it will read approximately 18. Okay, 17.8, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, unfortunately for me, the capacitor is good. So that would be the cheapest and easiest fix. But this capacitor is okay, so we'll move on to the next step. There are 4 Phillips head screws. You can see one of them right there. I'm going to take those out, and the motor should come off. All right, so the motor is coming loose. I just need to work it out a little bit. It's got a lot of minerals on it. It is coming out. So what I need to do now is remove this zip tie right here. This cable right here is coming from the control panel to the motor, and the zip tie is holding it in, so I'm going to go ahead and nip that off, but I need both hands so I won't be able to show that to you. You'll notice I went ahead and took off the membrane on this left side here to give me access, and this cord here, which runs from the control panel to the motor, is held in by these white clips. Go up and into through the hole there and into the control panel, and it's connected to the control panel. So next we have to take this motor out. I already removed the 4 screws, and it just slides. It's just slide out. Of course, it's a little bit rusted and covered with salt, so I got to work it back and forth. I'll need both hands for that. It's time to disconnect the motor from the switch, and if yours wiring is anything like mine, and these are all twisted together, so you have to carefully unravel them from each other. And very important, make sure you take a photo of how the wiring is connected so you can connect it up the same way. I just wanted to show this now that I've got a little bit untwisted. It's not fully disconnected. So this is the electrical coming into the cooler, so from your line, and the hot is going to this bundle of brown wires. The neutral is coming to this bundle of white wires, and unfortunately that's a crimped wire connector, so I'll have to replace that with a twist one. I'll have to get that off and replace that with a twist one. And then your neutral is going there to that Phillips head, so I'll have to remove that so I can disconnect the neutral from the rest of the motor. And then here are the wires that went to the capacitor, the red and the orange, and these others were going to the switch. So again, get that all disconnected and then carefully feed that down through this hole, and you can remove the motor. Here we have the new motor ready to go in. Fortunately, it comes with a new capacitor and then also a nut to hold the fan on. When I got the old motor out and cleaned it up a little bit more, I realized that the threads are reverse threads. So problem number one of getting the fan off is you got to turn the nut the right way. So even though I'm going clockwise, it is actually loosening right now, as you can see. So this nut is reverse threaded, so that's one thing. But even after I was turning it the right way, it still wouldn't come off. It was fused to the shaft, so all I was doing was turning the shaft, and there wasn't really a good way to hold onto the shaft and get the nut off. So what I ended up doing is just cutting the old nut off with an angle grinder and a metal cutoff wheel. So we got the fan on off. We'll put the motor in and the fan on and wire it up. Before I put the motor in, I'm going to take a minute and just clean up. As you can see, there's lots of minerals built up over many years. If you have super hard water like I do, that's just going to happen. So while I don't know if this is absolutely necessary or not, I'm going to take a few minutes and just clean this up with a scraper before I put the motor in. So the motor is in. I've attached it with the 4 Phillips head screws. The fan is on, tightened the nut down and fed. Now I'm feeding the wires back up to the control panel. It's secured here with a zip tie, which I had to cut off at the beginning of the project. So next step is I will feed the cable back up through to the control panel and reattach it. Unfortunately, I did have to cut off this crimp wire connector, so I'll just have to strip back the white wires a little bit and then put on a twist wire connector, and I'll secure it with some electrical tape. I have consulted the photograph I took at the beginning of the disassembly and plugged all of the color-coded wires back into the right place on the switch. You can see here I've connected the 5 neutrals, or the 4 neutrals, back together and secured that with a little electrical tape, and then the capacitor is plugged in as well. So now the moment of truth. Oh, one other thing, the grounds were all connected together and plugged back, or screwed back into their appropriate location there. So now the moment of truth, let's turn it on. I plugged it in and we'll see how good we did. Alrighty, it worked. It was the motor after all. So as you can see, it is spinning. So thanks for coming along on this journey. This was a lot of fun. So thanks so much to Hessaire for providing replacement parts so that this can be repaired. So I hope this helped you in some way, and have a great day.